Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and welcome to Soft Flow. This is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So if you're new to the practice, welcome. We move slowly, gently, we take our time with intention as well. So we do have a theme for this practice, but I just want to welcome you. I'm glad that you are all here. And let's see, our class title today is Gentle Twists. Gentle twist. So we'll be doing some twisting today. Of course, we like to go through some gentle warm-ups, beginning with breath, etc. And then we'll add our twisting postures. And so to support ourselves in this practice, like we do in every class, we like to use plenty of props. So go ahead and grab, if you haven't grabbed them already, the props that you would like to use. I would recommend a blanket or a towel that you can sit on and kneel on, because we do some kneeling postures just so you can protect your hands, wrists, and your knees. So something soft. And then I would recommend a couple of yoga blocks if you happen to have them. They can also just be some books, some hardbound books that you can stack. 2 or 3 would be perfect for that. We do a pose where we like to actually sit on the blocks, and we'll get to that in a moment. So something firm that you can use. And then optional, just a big pillow. This is a yoga bolster, something very firm that I like to use. I don't always use it during the practice, but it might come in handy at the end of practice for Shavasana. So if you have something like this, go ahead and have a big pillow. Also something you can just sit on as well. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and begin our practice. Again, we're going to be doing gentle twists today. So first, just find a comfortable seat on your yoga mat. Feel free to sit on your blanket, your towel, or a pillow. I like to cross my legs. This is half lotus pose, and this just feels comfortable for me. But if this is not comfortable for you, sit in a way that does feel comfortable. That might be, sit with your legs extended on the floor if you happen to be sitting on the floor. If you need some back support, go ahead and sit up against a wall. That's perfectly fine. Or even for this first moment of practice, sit in a chair, and then we'll just move our way down to the yoga mat. So find your comfortable seat, sit up as tall as you can, again using a wall or something braced behind you for support. We're going to start with some deep breath and a little bit of some shoulder rolls, just a little bit. So I'm going to have you inhale and just lift your shoulders high up towards your earlobes. That's your inhale. Then you can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. And as you let the air out, let your shoulders and arms relax. Let's do that one more time together. Inhale, just lift the shoulders. You might even feel some of that tension that often likes to settle. We're just exaggerating that. Then exhale, let it all go. And then maybe we're just going to shake it all out. And then just find stillness here. And just continue with slow, steady breaths. Again, you might be breathing in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. And you can do this with your eyes opened. If your eyes are open, you're just taking a soft gaze forward or downward. You can even close your eyes and just take a nice gentle journey inward as we prepare. Breathe in a way so that you can hear your breath. Becoming more aware of your breathing. And just by doing this, you bring yourself to greater awareness, brings you to the present moment. And also breathe so that you can feel your breath. Notice how your body is responding to each breath in and each breath out. So as you inhale, for example, you might inhale and just feel the lifting and lengthening of your spine. You might sit up a little taller and also feel the lungs expand. Then as you exhale, as you're able, if you want, you can draw your navel inward towards your spine. It's a way of engaging your abdominal muscles. And that action is our abdominal lock. It's just a way of supporting yourself, whether you're sitting or standing or in motion. So again, a nice inhale to feel the lifting and lengthening of your spine. Feel that nice expansion of the lungs, and exhale, draw belly in. Just a light contraction, doesn't have to be too strong. And just continue that on your own. A few more breaths. Again, just bringing yourself to a greater awareness of self and being fully present. This is our breathing meditation. And soon we'll add a simple movement. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths. Slow, steady breaths. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out and all the way up, reaching into the air with some good effort, a little stretch feeling. Then as you exhale, extend your arms out across the room and let them float back down by your side. And that completes a round of breath. Go ahead and do that again at your own pace, and inhale to sweep the arms out. Good effort, reaching across the room, then eventually up towards the ceiling. Exhale, reaching outward. Just feel as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, and then back down by your side. Go ahead and continue on your own, moving at your own pace, breathing at your own pace. A nice inhale to reach high, your exhale to lower the arms. This is our moving meditation. You might be moving in slow motion, and as you're doing so, just notice the energy, the sensation in your bodies. Feel the energy as you extend your arms up into the air, the movement of your shoulders, and even the lengthening down through the sides of your body. Still breathing so that you can hear your breath and feel your breath. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Go at your own pace. And when you're complete, just bring your arms back down by your side. Let your arms relax, let your shoulders relax, and just return to the awareness of your own breathing. Still sitting nice and tall, so if you were in a chair, go ahead and make your way down to the floor. And from here, just going to bring your hands behind you, maybe just propped up onto your fingertips. Bringing the arms behind you will also bring the shoulders back behind you a little bit too. And once your arms are back there, just going to tip your chin up a little bit, not too high. So what we're creating is a mild back bend. And what you'll do, you'll inhale, press into the ground with your fingertips. Feel that energy just shoot right up your arms. Then fill up your lungs, very expansive here. Then when you exhale, draw navel inward towards your spine. All right, so we're just adding some more sensations to the body. Again, inhale, press into the floor, feel that energy in your fingertips, hands, arms, shoulders. Fill up your lungs, that nice expansive quality across the chest. As you exhale, draw belly in, and you might even squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you as you're able. And just feeling all this effort, this active body, and this seated, gentle back bend. 2 more breaths. And after the second breath, just lower your chin so you're looking forward. Walk your hands towards yourself so you're sitting up tall once again. You can just let your arms rest in your lap. Let everything come back to neutral. And of course, return to your breathing. Since that was our back bend, let's take our forward fold. So if your legs happen to be crossed here, go ahead and uncross them, and we'll place or press the soles of the feet together, like so. You might even take your blocks or books, it could even be some small pillows, and just tuck them underneath your legs right here so your legs actually rest on the blocks so they can rest open easily. And then you might just hold onto your shins or ankles. Inhale and just lift yourself up nice and tall. As you exhale, draw belly in and start to hinge forward slightly from the hips, but lead with your heart or chin coming forward just a little bit. And that's just one of the qualities that we're really working with in our soft flow practice, is that we're moving slowly, we're taking our time, and we don't have to go fully into any pose. In fact, we're trying to work more like at 60%, meaning you can get to a place where you certainly feel something, but it doesn't feel too strenuous or overwhelming, and feeling like that you can hold this posture for a significant amount of time. Just allowing the body to absorb what's happening. And so in this case, this is a nice hip opener. Hopefully it doesn't feel too strenuous. and allowing the body just to naturally stretch. Now your back can remain flat and long like mine is at the moment, but you can certainly round your spine. You might round your spine, even lower your chin. That might even allow you to lower a little bit more without compromising that 60%. Take some deep breaths here, and again, just allowing the hips to open, and if your back happens to be rounded, just feel that flexion or stretch quality maybe down through your low back area. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths here. After the 3rd breath, if your back is rounded, just lift your chin and just look forward. That should start the re-extension of your spine. Then you'll hinge your way back up. You can even use your hands, press into the floor, and help press to assist your own body to come back up nice and tall here. Pause. Nice. So if you were using some pillows or blocks as your props here, let's just set those to the side and just carefully make your way to hands and knees. Just going to swing the legs back around behind you. This is where your blanket or towel can come in handy. Open it up to a place where you can have it softly supporting you underneath your wrists and your knees. So we'll be in this tabletop position for a moment, moving into cat and cow pose. Starting with cow, we're going to inhale and look up or forward, a slight arch in the back. Not too much. Exhale, round it out. So the rounding of the spine, pull a belly button up towards spine, chin towards chest. And then reverse it. You're going to feel your pelvis tip backward as your belly kind of drops towards the floor. You create the back bend, heart opens, look forward. That's cow. Exhale to round it all out, that rounded spine. Tuck tailbone under, chin to chest. And again, just going at your own pace, moving at your own breath pace. And again, not needing to go too deeply into each pose, but just enough where you can feel the roundedness, you can feel the back bend, but it's not aggravating your back or hips. Now, one thing that might get a little tired is maybe your wrists, since you're putting some pressure into the hands. You can change that. Here's a couple things you could do if you want. You could step your hands forward so your hands are out from underneath your shoulders, and even grip the mat a bit with your fingertips. That'll take some of the pressure off the wrists. Or you can even come down to your elbows like this and continue that flow. Arching the back for cow, rounding the back as you exhale for cat. It'll change the sensation a little bit, or at least some different parts of the body will experience sensation in this flow. And you can certainly move a little bit more intuitively if it feels right for you to maybe circle the hips or move them side to side. Anything that might just feel natural while you're here on hands and knees. You don't have to stay strictly tied to the cat and cow flow, but add a few other things if you want. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths. After your 3rd breath, just make your way back to a neutral tabletop position right here. Come to stillness, take a breath. You might be looking directly down at the floor, even the space between your hands, nice neutral neck. And then we'll crawl off of our pad here and set it to the side, just off of your yoga mat, and come back to hands and knees for a moment as we get ready for the next pose. From here, you're going to step your hands forward again, if you haven't already, spreading out your fingers pretty wide, gripping the mat with your fingertips, and then lean or press your palms into the floor. A little extra pressure there so your palms go flat. Just basically just stretching your hands like that. And that should also allow your arms to straighten and strengthen. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. We're going to do another cat-cow flow. You're going to inhale to cow, look up or look forward, arching the back. That's the back bend. Exhale, round it all out into cat pose. Hold cat pose for a second, because from here you're going to lift your knees off the ground, send your hips up into the air, and this should guide you into downward facing dog. Go ahead and quickly adjust your hands and feet if you need to.
We're not going to hold here too long. Just feel that nice extension in your spine, a softness in the knees in this inverted posture. Now look directly down at the mat. Step forward with both feet until you're about the center of your mat. Mainly you want the feet firm on the floor, directly underneath you. And maybe slide your hands toward your toes. Then inhale, slide your hands up the legs, maybe to your shins, knees, or even your thighs to extend your spine, only rising up halfway. We're going to hold here. This is half forward fold. So you're flat like a table. The energy of your hips are moving to the back of the room. Energy through the crown of your head is moving towards the front of the room. There's a slight bend in the knees. You might feel this in the hamstrings. Hold for another couple breaths. This is half forward fold once again. And now we're going to shift the weight back into the heels so you can easily tap your toes. Bend your knees, feel like you're going to sit down into a low chair. Start to look forward, spread your wings or take your arms out to the side, then stand up all the way. Reach both arms up into the air, big stretch there. Exhale, bring your arms out and down by your side. And now we've made our way to mountain pose. Nice standing position. Take a moment just to kind of shake that out. Just a little circle with the shoulders, shake out the hands and wrists since we had a lot of pressure on the hands when we were on our hands and knees. And let's do our half salute to the sun. Basically, we're going to carefully fold forward and then make our way back up. Very carefully, being mindful of our backs and our legs. Together, let's inhale, sweep the arms out and up into the air, big stretch. Exhale, spread your wings, or arms come out and down to the side. Bend your knees and sit back into an imaginary chair as you slowly start to fold, making your way down. Let the hands lower. Your head will start to lower. Now, you don't have to go all the way down to touch your toes unless you want to. Just put a good bend in your knees if you're deciding you want to touch your toes. Slide your hands up the legs, extending your spine. Return to that flat back. We'll hold here on the exhale. Half forward fold. We'll take a couple breaths here, just so you can feel the energy in your legs. You may not feel it, or maybe you do. There is core work happening as well, just so you don't fall over. Your core works tremendously just for stabilization of the body. Shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Again, spread your wings with an inhale. Let's stand up all the way, reach for the ceiling. And your exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. And once you're complete, you can circle out those shoulders again, your elbows even, and your wrists. Very nice. Alrighty. So let's move into our variation of Warrior One that we like to do. Let me just adjust my mat quickly. Right there. And so we're just going to come to mountain pose. Just stand up nice and tall. This is a lunge process, okay, but a variation. Let's start by putting a softness in the knees. Bend the knees and keep that bend in your knees. Start to shift your weight into your right foot. Nice planted feeling there into right foot. You're going to lean forward just a little bit, not much. So you can actually pick up the left foot or just tap the left foot back until it just comes to a kind of a natural stop behind you. You don't have to go back too far. And I've got the toes flexed, heel lifted like that. And you're going to turn that heel down so you can push the foot into the floor so you're firmly on the ground, and you'll center yourself right there. So there is some distance between the feet, and that's perfect. Place your hands on your hips. Push your pelvis downward, push downward, and then feel your torso and spine lift and lengthen so you're nice and tall. And with that, just start to turn to face mostly forward. Now your inhale, take both arms straight up into the air. When you exhale, just bend your elbows, maybe to about 90 degrees right there. So this is our variation of Warrior One. It's a lunge, but not too wide. Arms are up, but not straight. Alrighty? Let's go ahead and inhale, shoot the arms straight up into the air. Exhale, lower the arms and bring your hands to your hips. Lean forward and start to put pressure into the front foot so you can easily step forward, feet together here. Stand up all the way, nice and tall. Extend the arms back up into the sky. And exhale, arms down by your side. All right, we're going to do the exact same thing other side, so our Warrior One variation. Start with a softness or a bend in the knees. Keep that bend. Shift weight into your left foot. Feel rooted and grounded there. Lean forward a little bit. You can always use a wall or a chair for a little balance if you need it. And start tapping the right foot back, keeping the toes flexed, heel lifted for a second. and then pivot or turn that heel to the floor and just shift and just sit, what I call the pocket, so you're balanced right here. Place your hands on your hips, push your pelvis downward as you get nice and tall through the torso. Now the left knee is still very bent here. And turn your torso so you're mostly facing forward. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, bend elbows right there. There's our variation, Warrior One. We will be doing another version of this momentarily, where there's more distance between the feet. Let's inhale to extend the arms straight up. Exhale, bring your arms down, bring hands to hips. Lean forward, put pressure and some weight into the left foot so you can step forward, feet together. Inhale, stand up tall, straight lines, reach both arms up into the sky. And as you exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. And that completes that series. Good, shake that out if you'd like. All right, let's move through our next sequence here. Do your best, take your time, and I'll break it down. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air, both arms. Extended mountain pose. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and sit back into your imaginary chair as you start to slowly fold. You can make this a partial fold. Maybe your hands land at your shins, just below your knees if you want. Or you can go down a little lower. Just bend the knees more. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs to re-extend your spine like a table. But the exhale, just bend the knees, let the back round, get low enough. Take your time with this until you're low enough where you can place your hands on the mat in front of your feet and start stepping both feet back. Just walk the feet back to the back end of your mat until you're in plank pose, a high push-up position. Hold strongly for a second. We'll inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees quite a bit right there, but then lift your hips up into the air. That should guide you into downward facing dog. Okay, that inverted position we did earlier. Make an adjustment with your feet and hands so you feel steady and strong in the posture. Couple of breaths here in this upside down posture. We're going to continue. When you're ready, inhale, pick up the right foot and extend the leg up and back behind you. It's in the air, just reaching through your toes behind you. As you exhale, bend your right knee quite a bit. Bring the right knee in underneath you towards your chest or chin. As you do so, shift your weight forward so your shoulders are stacked over your wrists. Once there, just place the right foot down. You'll be on your toes basically. And then set the left knee down. We're doing this because the right foot didn't make it all the way to the top of the mat. We're going to take the right hand, go get your right foot, literally pick up the foot and slide it or step it forward so it's closer to your right hand. Relift the left knee, pivot or turn left heel to the floor behind you. There's a lot of weight forward, but we need more weight behind us. So you're going to pull the hips back, even step the hands back a little bit so you have more pressure in that back foot. Once you have that, extending your torso long out over your front thigh. Then we're going to hinge from hips, rising up, facing forward, and sweep the arms into the air. Hold here. This is our Warrior One. Second variation. This feels a little bit different. More distance between the feet. You might even feel a little hip flexor stretch right here in the left thigh. Arms are straight. We're going to inhale. Exhale, turn your torso now towards the left side of the room as you turn and bring the arms down to parallel. You may need to adjust the feet, okay, just so you have more balance, but because of the positioning earlier on, you may not need to adjust the feet, but do so if you need to. Nice extension through your arms. We have a nice knee bend here in front. Make sure the right knee and toes are pointing directly forward. The left leg behind you is straight. We're going to reach out over the right thigh, angle the upper half of the body, and rotate the arm. So your right hand is coming down, left hand reaching into the air. Now you can notice my hand is right at my knee and thigh. This is where I like to go for this pose. You can certainly go lower if you want to, but thinking about that 60%, you don't have to go down too far. All right, let's take a breath in. We're going to exhale, carefully turn towards the floor, fold and bend. Take your time, place your hands on the ground. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. This puts you in a runner's lunge, I call it. Push palms firmly into the mat, strong arms. So you can slide your right foot back to meet the other. We return to plank pose just to build a little bit more strength. With an exhale, bend your knees slightly, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. with the invitation, of course, to adjust your feet and your hands. Let your head relax for a second. Other side, we're going to inhale, pick up the left foot, extend the leg up and back behind you. It doesn't have to lift high. When you exhale, bend the knee. Bring the knee in underneath you, towards your chest, towards your chin. Shift your upper body forward. Shoulders will be stacked over your wrists. Set the left foot down. Doesn't matter where, unless you can get it up next to left hand. If it's behind the hand, set the right knee down. Let's go get the left foot, literally pick it up and place it up a little higher. Relift the right knee. Pivot right heel to the floor behind you. Shift your body weight back. Make sure there's good weight and energy in that back foot. Extend your torso long out over your front thigh. That way you can hinge from your hips, rising up. It's like opening the lid of a box. Reaching both arms up into the air. That's your inhale. Exhale, just kind of lunge and just settle into the posture. Holding here. Maybe noticing now the right hip flexor as it stretches because there's more distance between the feet. Check in with alignment, left knee and toes pointing forward. Be sure this alignment stays the same as we now open up to Warrior Two. First, inhale. Exhale, turn your torso towards the right side of the room, bringing your arms down to parallel. Again, being sure your left knee didn't move. It's still pointing forward. Nice outstretched arms. They are parallel to the floor ideally. And then side angle, reaching out over the left thigh to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate your arms. So your left hand's reaching down, right hand reaching into the air. Again, not needing to go down too low unless you'd like to. Remember, working at 60%. We can feel the posture. There's certainly some effort. We are working. But we can hold this, for a good amount of time. Let's inhale here, ready to move. Exhale, carefully turn, facing the front. Fold and bend, bring your hands to the ground. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you, aligning everything. Good pressure into the floor with the hands so you can slide the left foot back. Here's our plank pose. Hold. Let's go back to down dog, bend the knees a little bit, send your hips into the air. All right, gently set your knees down onto the mat. Let's sit back briefly to hero. Hero is this posture where you're just getting off your hands, but we're not going to be here long. Just slide off the feet so you're sitting on your mat. Swing the legs around to the front. Go ahead and scoot so you're sitting in the center of your mat. Now you want to have some things next to you, mainly your blocks or your books. You can even use a blanket or pillow if you need something soft underneath you because you're going to lie down. So go ahead and lie down. You can, again, use the blanket for a little cushioning for your head or back. Make sure your blocks are nearby. You can easily grab them. Now you're going to lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground. So we're moving into our bridge pose. It's a supported back bend position. That's why we need the blocks or books. First, just take a few more moments just lying in stillness. Let everything disengage. Let go. Let the breath help you with that. There have already been a lot of engaging postures, but I like to take this moment, just about halfway through the class almost, as a way to take a little breather. Okay, breathe in, fill up your lungs. Exhale to engage your belly, using that sensation to lift hips into the air. Slide your blocks or books underneath you so you can sit on them, and that's it. If you need to, make some adjustments with your feet, maybe your arms, and then again, just relax here. So it's not a full back bend, but it simulates a good back bend or a nice opening for the whole front side of your body. Your thighs, your hips, the belt line, your low belly, and your chest. So we'll hold here for several breaths. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths. Very nice. When you're ready, just going to press the feet into the ground with some effort so you can lift the hips, slide the blocks out from underneath you, set them to the side carefully, and slowly roll your way down. Let's bring knees to chest. Just catch your knees in your hands. Now you can rock forward and back, providing or creating enough momentum to rock yourself up to seated, or if that's a little bit too much, you can also just roll to one side and then press to lift yourself up. So just find your seated position. Here, we're going to stay seated. Let's do a seated twist. Let's do our first twist. So I'm going to face you, and I like to sit on a blanket for this. Right there. And again, just crossing your legs if that feels comfortable for you. All right, sitting up nice and tall here. Okay, I'm going to try to mirror you. What we're going to do is going to take the right hand, place it behind you, just on the floor behind you somewhere, and using that as a brace or a way to help continue the lengthening of the spine. Just press that hand into the floor to help extend the spine. You're going to do that with an inhale. And with the exhale, imagine your belly button just starting to turn a little bit to your right, maybe pointing in the same direction as right knee. So you're just kind of looking out at an angle right there. So you don't have to twist too far. You can even take this free hand and place it on the outside of the right knee or thigh, just to hold you in place, not to pull you into place, just to hold you in place, okay, if that makes sense. So we'll just stay right here. So we're inhaling and just getting as long and tall as possible. Exhaling just to hold in place. Because we're rotating through this lower section, we're actually conditioning, okay, lots of things. The muscles, okay, the obliques, part of the abdominal system. We're also conditioning the internal organs in this area, okay, but not in a strenuous way. Let's breathe in, get nice and tall. Exhale, draw belly in, but then unwind and face forward. Let's pause here so everything can come back to neutral. It's just a gentle, mild twist. You don't have to go too far. And again, you're not trying to pull yourself deeper into this pose. Let's do the other side. So maybe left hand behind you. Push into the ground to stay well extended. Inhale, feel the lengthening of the spine. Exhale, draw belly in, and a little rotation towards that left knee a little bit. And this free hand, maybe just to bring it to the knee or thigh, a comfortable place here, to hold yourself in place. And notice how this time, sometimes I have you place the hand here first and then rotate, but that's what usually draws us to actually pull us into the posture. Notice I had you get lengthened, core engaged, turn on your own, and then place this hand. Okay, that meant that you really used your own core strength, okay, to make that rotation. And that's, I would say, a little bit more ideal. Okay, let's breathe in, get very tall. Exhale, draw belly in, and then unwind to face forward. Relaxed arms and hands right here. Good, nice gentle twists. All right, we've got a few more twists that we're going to be doing in our practice. All right, we're going to come back to hands and knees. So uncross legs, come to hands and knees. You certainly can use your cushioning if you want. I'm just going to be free on my mat here. Just 2 breaths, cat and cow, 2. Inhale, look up, arch the back, exhale, round. 1 more. And then come back to a neutral position. Let's get ready for downward facing dog. Again, if your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, step your hands forward, spread out your fingers too. Press palms firmly into the ground. Feel the energy in your arms, tuck your toes. Another cat-cow, so our third one. Inhale, look up or forward. Exhale, round it out. Hold cat. Feel belly button pull up towards spine. Use that energy to lift your knees into the air, hips into the sky, downward facing dog. Again, adjust the hands and feet. We're not going to be here long. Take a nice full breath in. As you exhale, walk your feet forward until they're directly underneath you. Slide your hands towards your toes. That'll be your forward fold. Inhale, slide the hands up the legs. Halfway lift. On the exhale, fold again back down towards toes this time. To stand up, we shift the weight into the heels. Bend your knees. Feel like you're going to sit down. Look forward. That will extend the spine. Reach your arms out to the side and then drive heels into the floor. Straighten the legs, stand up tall, reach up into the air. Inhale. Exhale, arms down by your side. Very nice. Shake that out. Okay, we're going to do chair pose, and we really haven't done chair pose yet. We're going to do chair pose and then twist chair pose. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways for this. We've been flowing through chair pose. We haven't held chair pose, okay? So here we go. We're going to inhale, reach both arms straight up into the air. Nice lengthening through the sides of the body. Exhale, weight shifts into the heels. Bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair. Arms are out in front, but you're going to bring your hands to heart center right here. So here's our chair pose, which we're going to hold right there. Weights in the heels. I can easily tap toes. Feels like your hips are reaching back to the back of the room or even towards the back edge of your mat. And notice I didn't sit down too deeply. You certainly can, but maybe modify to that 60%. Let's bring hands to hips for a moment. Let me just face you for a moment. Hands on hips, just so you can feel and notice that your hips are aligned, okay? When we twist, it's just the upper half of the body, okay? Making sure your hips stay even, okay? Because we want to avoid, can you see my knees? We want to avoid this, okay? See how I twisted and my knees shifted? Okay, that means the hips shifted. This really isn't a twist, it's a turn, okay? We want a rotation through the torso, so let's try that. We're going to breathe in, exhale, pull belly in, and just the upper body rotates towards your right. Just to check in, look down at your feet and knees. If your knees are aligned, that means your hips are aligned and you've created just a rotation in the upper body. That's what we want. All right, let's breathe in. It's a long time in this chair pose. As we exhale, unwind, place hands on thighs, and just push into the thighs to help you stand up nice and tall. Go ahead and take the arms back up into the air as well. Nice stretch, arms down by your side. All right, now chair pose, it's a pretty dynamic posture, okay? Just to be able to hold yourself in that angled position, all righty? And so that was a lot of work. Let me just adjust my mat. Let's get ready for the other side, okay? I'm just going to spin this way. Let's inhale, take the arms out and up. Exhale, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair. Weight shift into the hips and heels. Go ahead and bring hands to heart center. Again, not needing to sit down too deeply. You can even check in with all your nice alignment. Feet are firm on the floor, except for the weights in the heels. You can tap your toes. Your knees are aligned, your hips are aligned. You can even place hands on hips for a moment. All right, we're going to inhale and extend the torso as if it's coming up and out of the pelvis. Exhale, pull belly in, ready to revolve or twist gently, slowly to the left. Not much, just a slight turn, just like we did in that seated twisting position. Check in with all the alignment. We just want the upper body rotating here. And again, a lot of work, especially in the upper body and the legs, yes, in this twist. Let's breathe in. Exhale, unwind, hands on thighs. Push into the thighs to help you stand up. Let's get that strong straight line in the body as you reach up into the air. Exhale, arms return to your side. That's it. Okay, let's continue our flow. Let's make our way back down to the earth. Let's inhale, reach both arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into that imaginary chair. See how we just flow through chair pose and then make our way down, maybe touching the toes with a good bend in the knees. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs, extending your spine, long, flat back. Exhale, fold and bend. Take your time with this. Get low enough. Bend your knees more. Place your palms on the ground and just walk both of your feet back. Take your time with that too. Take as many steps as you need to until you arrive in a strong straight line plank pose. Let's breathe in. Exhale, bend knees a little. Send your hips into the air. Downward facing dog. Let's just go through another flow here. You're going to inhale, pick up the right foot, extend the right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, bend the right knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest, shifting forward. If you're able, land with your foot closer to the right hand, or do what we did before last time, okay? Once you're there, pivot left heel to the floor. Let's shift the weight back, put some more pressure in that back foot. Elongate your torso out over the front leg. Inhale, hinge your way up. Look forward with arms into the air. That's an inhale. Exhale, lunge a little deeper. Hold. Inhale, reach a little higher. Exhale, turn torso towards the left side of the room, arms come down to parallel. Side angle, so we're reaching forward to angle the upper half of the body like this. Rotate the arms. Right hand comes down, left hand reaching into the air. Good extension here. Let's hold here a little bit longer. Let's breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn so you're facing the floor. Fold and bend. Bring the hands to the mat. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Okay, we're going to add a twist here. Let's set the left knee onto the floor. You can certainly bring in your blanket or towel underneath that knee. Okay? I was up on the toes back there. You can even flatten the foot if you want. Here you can also bring in a block or two or your books underneath the left hand. So it kind of lifts you up, which is actually kind of ideal. So maybe lift yourself up by bringing your your left hand up on a stack of blocks. And once you're here, nice extension of your torso, like you're going to shoot forward. Take your free right hand, reach it out to the right side. We're going to inhale first, and exhale, start to dial or twist or turn towards the right side of the room. Not far. You probably can't tell with my right arm. It's not reaching straight up towards the ceiling. It's more reaching out at an angle, actually, across the room. But I am in a twist. All right, let's breathe in. Exhale, unwind it, just bringing the hand back down. I'm just going to move my blocks out of the way. Getting the hands forward just a little bit, plant the palms, tuck toes behind, lifting the knee off the floor. I'm just going to slide the blanket out of the way again. A good pressure into the mat with the hands so you can slide or step the right foot back so it's straight behind you. Take your shortcut to downward facing dog. Bend the knees a little, send your hips into the air. Let's do that same sequence other side. Let's start with the inhale as we lift and extend the left leg up into the air behind you. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you as well. Shift your body forward, shoulders over wrists. If you can, set left foot up near or closer to the left hand. Turn right heel to the floor behind you. Put some weight and pressure back into that foot. Make sure your torso is long and straight out over left thigh. Hinge from hips. It's an inhale to rise up and reach both arms into the sky. Exhale to lunge a little deeper. Inhale, stay in place, but just reach a little higher. Exhale, turn torso towards right side of the room as you bring your arms down to parallel. Warrior two. Right away into side angle. We're reaching forward to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate your arms here. Left hand down, right hand up. Nice deep breaths here. We're going to get ready for that lunging twist in a second. Let's breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn. Fold and bend. Bring your hands down to the ground. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. There's the runner's lunge. Then you'll set the right knee gently onto the floor. Again, bring in a blanket if you need some padding. You can lengthen that foot behind you if you'd like. Bring in your stack of books or blocks underneath right hand to lift you up. And I like lifting because it actually creates a little bit more space in the waistline so you can rotate. If you're down too low, it kind of locks you in place and there's nowhere to move. Okay, so maybe lifting yourself up. You're at an angle here. Nice straight spine. Feel like you're going forward. That's your inhale. The left arm's out to the side. As you exhale, just start to twist a bit, okay, to that left side. Again, not too far, so that you can hold it. You're obviously in a twist. It just doesn't have to be too dynamic. Now again, my left hand, it probably looks like it's straight up, but it's not. It really is at an angle. Just reaching out across the room a bit. A couple more breaths. It feels good in the spine and the hips. Let's breathe in. And our exhale to unwind, hand to the floor. Then we can move our props out of the way. Tuck toes underneath, lifting the knee, moving the blanket or towel if you're using one. Palms press firmly into the mat so you can slide the left foot back so it straightens back behind you. Straight line in the body, hold. See if you can hold this a little bit longer. Okay, we're kind of taking the place of the down dog because we're not going to do down dog. All you're going to do from here is bring the knees to the floor. Sit back, briefly into hero just to get off the hands. Slide off onto the floor, swing the legs around to the front. Sit in the center of your mat. Again, you may want to have your blocks and a blanket or towel nearby. Roll down onto your back. This time, when you lie down, hug the knees into chest. Doesn't have to be tightly pulled in, just knees bent, draw them in toward your body, and just hold on to the knees with your hands. And then if you'd like, some movement here. I like to create circles, a figure 8, side to side rocking, forward and back rocking, okay, whatever feels good. For me, it's a nice massage for the low back. Let's do a couple of postures here. One of them is another hip opener. I'm going to give you some options for this. So if you're holding onto your knees or shins, you might want to flex your feet a little bit just to energize the feet, and then just take the legs wide, okay? And just kind of hold the legs open, wide, with knees bent, feet somewhat energized. And this is a variation, I call it a variation of happy baby pose. You can stay just like this. It's great for the inner thighs. You can take this to happy baby pose by sending the feet up into the air. Knees are still bent. And then reach up with your hands. Maybe you can grab hold of the bottoms of the feet. If you can't reach the soles of the feet, just hold on to your ankles, perhaps, or just anywhere along your legs. And so this is another hip opener. Again, I like to add a little rocking sensation here for the massage of the spine and the muscles along the spine. And then one more hip opener if you'd like. Bring the soles of the feet together so they touch, and then set the feet onto the floor. This is reclining cobbler's pose or bound angle. We did this seated. This is just the lying down version. And again, you're welcome to take your blocks or books if they're handy and just place them underneath the knees, underneath the legs here. So the legs are resting open rather than being pulled open. Hopefully that makes sense. Especially if the legs don't go all the way down, and they probably don't go all the way down to the floor. They just kind of hang in space, and then gravity just pulls. And yes, that can feel okay, but then sometimes it starts to feel like it's overstretching. But if you place something underneath the legs, then the legs can rest open, and they still get that natural stretch without overdoing it. We'll spend some time here. Very relaxing pose. We're going to move it into an inverted posture, okay, but certainly modified. And I'm going to give you two ways you can do your inverted position. Let's spend about 3 more breaths here in this reclining bound angle pose, or this lying down hip opener. And when we're complete, let's lift the knees and just return so the feet are flat on the ground. Now I'm going to give you 2 versions of the inversion. 2 versions of the inversion. So you can lie flat as you are on the ground and then just hug the knees into chest and extend the legs up into the air. They don't have to be absolutely straight at all. They can be a bend in the knees. Legs just go up. That's one version. You can certainly do that. Maybe you already have. Or press feet into the floor, lift hips into the air, maybe place blocks, even a pillow underneath you, maybe just one block underneath you, sit on it, and then extend your legs into the air. Either one. What I find, at least for my body, just having something tucked underneath, even if it's just a pillow, just somehow just provides a little bit more support, so it actually feels a little easier to extend the legs in the air. That's just me. So just notice, you can even compare. Maybe try it without the props and then try it with the props. Okay, now the legs are up. They've been up for a moment. Even just add some movement. I like to do a little bicycle pedaling just to get into the hips a little bit. And since the feet are free, I like to get some movement in the feet by flexing the feet, pointing, even some circles. Love doing that. If you can wiggle your toes, wiggle your toes. All right, a little bit of movement if that feels good, or just still hold in place. Or if you feel complete with this inverted posture, just bring your feet back down to the floor, no worries. If you're still extending, let's take 3 more breaths. After the 3rd breath, bend the knees, set the feet onto the floor. If you're using the props, let's lift the hips so you can remove the props and safely come back down to the ground. Go ahead and extend the legs here for a moment so you're lying in Shavasana for a few seconds here. We're not at the end of class, we almost are, but just let the legs just lengthen on the floor for a moment before we get to our next pose, which of course is a twist. So let's go ahead and bend the knees again, feet on the floor. Hug the knees into chest. Catch them in your hands. We'll take a twist to the left side. Both knees are going to go to the left. Slowly take the knees over to the left. I like to use a block. Same idea. The legs do not have to touch the floor, nor do they have to touch each other when they're stacked one on top of the other. Maybe they don't stack. Maybe they don't touch. Place a pillow, a blanket, a rolled up towel between the knees if you want. Or place something between you and the floor on that left side, just so you don't over-rotate and you can relax here. Even though you're in this twist, can you manage creating a lengthened torso? Just be aware if you feel kind of bunched up or rounded in the back. See if you can extend and lengthen. Once the knees are over to the left, extend your right arm to the right. And see if you can relax here. Again, you want to be in a place where you could hold this pose for a good amount of time. And I think we are. So let's just hold this for a moment. So be sure you do feel relaxed. So the work can happen. And so what is happening? Can you notice what's happening? For me, I feel a little pull, nice little gentle stretch in my right hip. There's certainly a rotation in the spine. They both feel quite good. Be sure you're breathing. Nice cleansing breaths. I say cleansing breaths because you can imagine like twisting pose is kind of this cleansing action. What I imagine sometimes is like a wet towel or a rag or something, and it's sopping wet, and you wring it out. So in a way we're kind of doing the same thing, but not so rigorously. Okay, just a gentle wringing out. Okay, let's take two more breaths on this side. And we're going to carefully come back up to neutral. You can place the feet on the floor, knees bent, hold right here before we get to the other side. That was a long time on that first twist, so let's spend a few moments here in this neutral position so everything can realign. And then when you feel ready, no rush, slowly start taking the knees over to the right side. Use your props as you like to help support your body. I'm going to do the same thing. I have a block between the floor and my right knee. I'm using my other block and place them between both knees. That way I don't over-rotate. Elongate through the torso, and then left arm can extend out to the left side. Finding that comfortable place so you can just settle in and almost disengage. Now there's a bit of a balance here. There's parts of the body that do feel very much relaxed and disengaged, but there might be other parts of the body that are engaged just to hold you in place. It's just a kind of a natural thing. So maybe you can notice what parts of self are completely relaxed, where there's no muscle engagement, and then other parts of the body where there might be a mild to a more significant engagement, just so that you hold the twist. And of course, notice your breath.
We just have a few more minutes left in our practice. So we'll use the rest of the hour to come to Shavasana or any other relaxing pose to come to meditation. So if you're still in your twist, maybe taking 2 more breaths. You're certainly welcome to stay here a little longer if that feels right for you at this moment. When you are complete, let's remove the props, come back up to center. Hold for a moment to neutralize the body. Thinking about which pose you want to do for your relaxation posture. That might simply be Shavasana, where you extend your legs out onto the floor, arms resting by your side. But you're certainly welcome to use your props in any way to help relax your body. I'll give an example. I'm going to lift myself up, go get my bolster, and I'm going to tuck my bolster underneath my legs here, just so that there's a natural bend in my knees. That just feels nice. So the legs are slightly elevated, the knees can be bent, hips are opened, and that just feels good. Okay, so just finding the right spot for you. That might just mean something soft underneath your head. Once you're there, maybe close your eyes, take your journey inward. Slow, steady breaths, relaxation and meditation. Notice your breath. Make sure you're continuing with your slow, deep breathing, staying here in the moment. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Even as I end the practice, just stay here if you want to. You're welcome to stay here or join me as we end the class together. And we'll start by taking 5 slow, deep breaths. If you're still deeply in relaxation, just stay right where you are. Move at your own pace. If you're taking these deep breaths with me, using these breaths to bring movement back into your body. Then sometime after your 5th breath, as movement returns to your body, move in slow motion and carefully roll onto either side of your body. Just coming to a nurturing pose. And then still moving carefully and slowly. Just guide your way up to seated, and you might sit on a blanket or pillow. Once seated, just find the extended spine, sitting up nice and tall and proud, keeping the shoulders and arms relaxed. And then one more movement together. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold here in stillness, find your breath. Take one more breath. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.